All right, so here we go. I'm assuming that you guys have an Edmodo login and know how to log in. If you do not, please feel free to shoot me an email and I can make a little more basic lesson. But if you see here, Edmodo is designed to look much like Facebook, even with the blue headers and all of that stuff. So up here you have a search function that allows you to search for posts, groups, users, apps, and more. So that's if you're looking for something and don't know what to do, that's always a good place to start. If you look at this is your news feed, your wall, whatever you want to call it, it's a little bit different with Edmodo because you see everything all at once. So I would see, like, this is a group, language arts, that I follow. There's also my math group that I follow. And then whenever school's in session, I'd have all of my classrooms posting to this wall at the same time. First, I didn't like that, but afterwards, when I found out that, hey, if they're in a different classroom and they're trying to use my classroom to pass notes, then I would see it, and that I do like that. You do have options to filter the posts. So if you click filter the posts, you can filter them by posts you've made, by students, direct ones, connections. Connections are basically friending or following. Assignments and alerts and all those things. So let's take a quick look at your functions up here. So this is the home screen. That's what we look at here. This is the home screen. Right here, that's the progress. Now if I mouse over that, you'll see, I actually clicked it and mouse over it. You'll see all of the groups that we have created, that I have created. And then up here, it has my student badges as well. I'm not going to go in there right now, but on my student badges, you can make and assign badges to your students. So if a student's very good at editing papers, you can make them the class editor or something like that. You could upload a small little image to it, and you know they get awarded that badge, and you'd be amazed at how much excitement that gives for your students. This is your Discover page. It's basically looking outside of your little world of Edmodo here into everybody else's content and saying, hey, you might like this. So that's something you do, get a lot of ideas on assignments, on just things that you can use in your classroom. Then you have your library. Now, one really cool thing, let me see if I can find something here, is your library. Here we go. So your library is able to house anything that somebody has posted on your wall, or you can upload any file off of your own hard drive, or a link that you want your students or staff to be able to see. So this person right here, Mr. O'Callahan, says the first 3 issues of our Teaching and Learning Digest, keep exploring, available to download now. So and this is a link, I could tell because it's got the URL right here. So if I wanted to, I could save this URL so that I could post it to further classrooms, or so that I could just organize it and use it for later. All you have to do is click that book button. Your students have the same feature, but theirs adds it to their backpack. The library and backpack are virtually the same thing. They just have a different icon, a different name. So if I were to click that, it says 2. Now that's in my backpack, and I could get to that at any time, or my library. And I could get that any time I want. So if I click the library, it has library items, and since it's the most recent thing I got, there it is. So I can click on that, and I believe from here, okay, maybe not from here, but you can share that through your notes or your assignments. So these are all things that I have added to my library from posts. You could filter by files or links. You can view it as a thumbnail or a list. Pretty neat stuff here. You have folders, so you could do that. You could organize it a little better, so when you're in there, you could actually move them to folders. Attached to posts. This is anything that somebody has attached to your post while they're in one of your classrooms. And here's the cool thing: you've got your Google Drive. So with Google Drive, it actually connects to your Google. So right here it says I'm connected to mrhassel@gmail.com, and this is actually the stuff that I posted in I think my Google Apps for Education. So right here, or for Q. So if I click the Q, here's all the folders I did at Q Rockstar just this past week. So very cool that it seamlessly connects with it. I personally don't use this feature. I just grab the links from Drive and I'll put them on my posts. But you can go to your library and use Google Drive that way. So that's these buttons up here. So the progress, you could also click on the class, and with the you could look at that's basically their grade book. So very cool stuff here. Now over here you have the search bar, and you also have the notifications bell here. So if you click here, it will show you who joins your classrooms, who sends the direct messages, submissions, things like that. So very, very cool there. Then you also have your icon, that's your profile picture, and so you can look at your profile, you can log out, report a problem, change the settings. A big thing in settings is you could tell it whether you want email notifications of what you have been doing. So if you click the profile button, it will show your connections. I've got 81. It'll show how many students you have, connections, how many library items you have, and then your sharing score. Your sharing score, whenever you post something in a group or in a classroom that is from your library or that's a file, it basically gives the people options to put that in their library, just as the way I demonstrated earlier. So this is every time somebody puts your item into their library, you get a point. So that means I have had one of my items shared 1,688 times. Here are those badges I was talking to you about. So there are teacher badges as well, and it just, they just create, okay, if you have 100 views of content that you shared on Edmodo, then you become a librarian. If you are a publisher collaborator, that means you follow publisher community, you get that badge. My student badges, I had the finisher, and I didn't really have very much quantifiable things, but I think they'd be much more effective if you say you're the technology student because you have completed 5 Edmodo assignments and helped 2 students troubleshoot their iPads, something like that. So you could create a new badge and upload, like I just got these pictures online and uploaded them as my badge. So that's the basics of how Drive is laid out. Let me go back to the home button. And so here you have groups. So right here is your groups on this left-hand side. So if I was to choose a group, let me go ahead and choose my Q Rockstar Tulare. You have this group code. So whenever the students are signing up, or if they already have an Edmodo, they simply plug that group code in and they're able to join your group. And real quickly, just so you guys see how this works, the groups, there's a plus button. I hit plus, create, or join. If I hit create, that means I'm making the group, and it'll automatically make a join group join code for me. If somebody already has Edmodo, they just go to the groups and hit join, and then they plug in that group code, and they could join your group. If it's somebody with another teacher account, you could actually make them a co-teacher. That's a cool feature as well. So once you're in here, you have your join URL. You have or the join URL is something you could email somebody, and then basically they'll click that link, and they would request if they could join the group. That'd go into your notifications right here, and you'd be able to say yes or no. Members, click on that. You can see everybody in the group. Really cool thing here is if you click the more button, you can make them this person's a teacher. I can make them a code teacher, but I can actually make them be quiet and make them read only. If I make them read only, that means that they cannot post anything unless they're responding to something I created. So if you have a student that is abusing Edmodo, that's a way you can kind of still have them use it, but not have much privileges. The alert is basically just basically a 140 character announcement. There's no interactivity here. This is only useful if your students have the app on their phones or on their iPads, and they actually will access it at home. I've never used it that much, but it's just basically an announcement. Hey, remember we have a test tomorrow. Then here's where it gets cool. You have the assignments. So assignments, you click on it, you can load in an assignment that you created before. So I have all these assignments right here. I could just click and automatically do it. So in fact, let's do that. Let me go ahead and click this, and I'm going to say the website reviews is going to be the one. And it actually remembers everything I did. And if I wanted to, I could then add a link. So I could say just for this http:// www.google.com, and right here it's going to give me, say Google, and I can attach that. You could actually attach a file as well, so you could immediately just pop that in there and put a file, a picture, or anything like that. And you could schedule it. I honestly didn't use that much because it was hard to time it properly, so it popped up when I wanted it. A lot of times I'd end up getting frustrated with it, but that could be a very useful thing for you. So once you're there, you have to make sure you assign your due date and you hit send, and it automatically will include it into your gradebook. So people will hit this, I used to call them the turn it ins. So they'll click the turn it in and be able to turn in their assignments that way. And awesome thing is, especially if they have iPads, I haven't did this with a Chromebook or a laptop or anything like that or any other tablet, but the iPads, a lot of students would like to do their assignments pencil and paper, and they could take a picture of it, and when they do turn it in, they have the same features, the links, they have these same features right here with the link, the file, and the library, so they could actually take a picture into and use that file as their assignment turn in. So it makes a crossover between a handwritten thing to a digital form, so that you could still edit it and grade it in Edmodo. Let me go ahead and show you one more thing before I sign off. So right here, if I view this person's work, I have no idea what I'm looking at here because this was something I did one of the last days of school. So this person says that they thought Math Playground Mobile Tip Tap was their favorite game, and they said that's why they like it. So the first one you do, so it says blank out of blank. So the first one I grade, if I say it's out of 10 points, and I give her a 10 out of 10 and grade it, the cool thing is now I can also give them a reaction. So it goes from outstanding, rock star, admirable, you can do it, and then needs improvement or incomplete. So I could rate them, and then I could even say great resource. We will certainly use this. And I could even give a link, a file, or ask something from my library. I click that. And then I could also hit here and say, these are all the ones not graded. So I could look at another student's. Remember, it's a 10. So, this person didn't show me the link, so I'll give them a different grade and maybe say she needs a better look next time or something like that. So that's the gist of Edmodo. It's a very, very powerful tool. You could also create quiz. So that's the assignment. You also have quiz. So I'm going to load a previous quiz just so you can see it. So if I do stocks quiz, you can see that it has a number of questions. It could be fill in the blank. It could be, I think these are all these are all question prompts. It could be multiple choice. It can be matching. It could be, I believe it could be check the ones that are correct. So this is a really good one. You have poll. So poll's the whole thing where you say, what is your favorite ice cream? And then you could say answer 1, answer 2, add answer 3, and then people could vote on those, and it will show it immediately. Well, I do believe you have to refresh it, at least on the iPads. You have to refresh it, and that it will show you how many of each person said what. The snapshot I'm not too familiar with. That is something specifically for Common Core. It's supposed to be something where you can see data broken down as far as how many standards a student missed on what if they take a Common Core test that's on Edmodo. So here on the right hand side, this would be what I finish it for. Here's a snapshot. So those are the same. So this right here, this snapshot's the same as that. You have your Edmodo planner. Anytime you create a due date, it'll be automatically added to the planner. I had somebody ask me if this would export to Google Calendar. I do not know that. That's something I need to look into. Here you have apps, manage apps, and the store. So the store, you could buy apps. This could be anything from curriculum. I've got a photo editor. And then once you get these, you could assign them to Classroom. So I could assign this photo editor to Classroom. It gives students power to use it within Edmodo. This is projects. Attendance. This was a really cool attendance app. I just didn't have really much use for it. But so that is the basics of Edmodo. So basically you'll need to, and I just thought of one more thing that's really cool that you guys would want to see. But so let me go to one of my math classes here real quickly. And I promise it'll be the last thing. There's just so much and so little time. So if I wanted to, so here's Miguel Aguirre, one of my students. I probably shouldn't have. So if I click down on this, there's also a parent code and change password. So the parent code, if I click on that, they give me a code that if the parents plug that in, then they can actually be in a parent group for Edmodo. And there's actually, anytime you post things, you can choose to do it to classroom or the parent group. So if I wanted to, I could say core 1, it'll say the math one or just the parents. So if I want to, if your parents are all online, you could actually just send something just to them so they can see that as well. So feel free to comment on my blog or shoot me an email or anything like that. Ask me to go more into depth on any specific thing. So it's basically an overview. Maybe ask how I would use this in a mashup or something like that. But I hope this was helpful, and practice the digital tricks and learning. Make sure that if you don't get it the first time, the part that you don't understand, watch it again, scrub back, watch it again over and over until you get it. That's a practical application that you could teach your students as well in the future. All right, this is Mr. Hassan. I hope this is helpful. Feel free to contact me with any questions you have. All right, thank you. Bye.